As a child, you may have been scared of the monster under your bed, and as a teenager, you might have laughed at yourself for being afraid of something imaginary. As you progress through life, your perceptions naturally evolve, but sometimes we ignore our inherent ability to adapt and the demands that come with it. If you find yourself stuck in fear, whether it's the monster under the bed or life's many uncertainties, it's important to examine your imagination and address the root causes of your anxieties. Life is like a road. You can't stay frozen on one side, afraid of being hit by a car. If you see an opportunity to cross, take it. Hesitating indefinitely will only shrink your life. Of course, being realistic and cautious is necessary, but living in constant fear is not truly living. As mortal beings, we must embrace life's uncertainties with faith. If we can't even take our next breath without the will of God, then why fear? Often, fear stems from a lack of belief in the very force that has sustained us from birth. If you've been breathing for years, why not trust in that process? We are complex beings, reliant on both internal and external support. Lacking faith in the natural process of life is not aligned with the divine design, and we shouldn't accept it as such. While our education and experiences shape our understanding, it's crucial to balance knowledge with faith. If someone tells you that you're merely a puppet, remember, humans possess free will and a personal sense of justice. To live as a puppet is to lose our humanity. However, taking full control of life's burdens can lead to other extremes, overwhelming us with responsibilities. True balance requires not only personal understanding, but also a connection to the metaphorical world, where we draw courage, freedom, and purpose. A belief system can provide strength, yet paradoxically, it can also confine us. Many belief systems unintentionally turn us into puppets. Some may argue that all humans are not created equal because of the obvious differences in size, color, gender, race, nationality, resources, and even religious beliefs. Everywhere you look, disparities abound, from health and age to beauty, political power, and wealth. These differences often divide and distress us. Yet spiritually, we are all treated equally and universally by the fundamental forces of God, justice, and nature. Recognizing these shared basics should inspire us to respect our spiritual side. Understanding our spiritual nature is vital because it directly impacts our physical existence. For example, humans don't have built-in fur. Without warm clothing, we all feel cold. The weather doesn't discriminate. Similarly, if we don't eat or drink, we all experience hunger and thirst. A lack of oxygen affects everyone equally. These universal truths highlight our shared vulnerability and dependence on the same natural laws. God, in His justice, ensures equality in spiritual fundamentals. However, we each have unique life stories. One person may be blessed with beauty, another with wealth, fame, or talent. Problems arise when we covet what others have. This not only blinds us to our own blessings, but also creates spiritual turmoil. By focusing on what we lack, we commit a kind of spiritual crime, ignoring the richness of our individual lives. This mindset fosters discontent and ungratefulness, especially in youth when perspective is still developing. When we fail to appreciate our blessings, it often stems from internal dissatisfaction rather than external circumstances. Even if others envy what we have, we may still feel unhappy. To change this, we must identify the root causes of our feelings. Most of these issues originate within us, making external solutions ineffective. To truly understand life, we must accept our dual nature as evolving, mortal beings. This complex reality demands individual exploration. Feelings of being out of control or insecure often lead to stress, which in turn disrupts our mental and physical well-being. While medication might offer temporary relief, it doesn't address the root causes. Like ignoring a dead animal polluting a stream, failing to resolve core issues allows problems to persist. To grasp the human experience as a whole, we must confront the reality of our mortality. None of us has control over aging or death. If we don't even govern the oxygen we breathe, how can we claim to be in charge? We live with constant dependence on external forces, and even our own bodies, with their incredible complexities, are beyond our full control. At the end of the day, we must learn to accept our vulnerabilities and mortality. As beings with free will, we often try to override everything. However, when things spiral out of control, we may begin to crumble internally, especially when it comes to our mental and physical health. Psychological struggles fueled by imagination can often manifest as physical health problems. Yet if we acknowledge the external help we receive, our mortal nature, and our ability to balance it all, we can take back control. The overwhelming feeling of being out of control is, paradoxically, something we can manage if we embrace our role as the CEOs of our lives. We are not only individuals with free will, but are also endowed with extraordinary minds. Our ocean-like brains allow us to draw upon vast knowledge and memories, mixing and matching insights to navigate life. If you're struggling to balance your life, remember that trying to assert more control isn't the solution. Instead, use your logic. Logic tells us that we are sustained by both internal and external forces. Recognizing this interdependence is key. If you're dissatisfied with your life, the issue isn't what your life is, but rather what you expect it to be. Pause and reflect. Why are you the way you are? Understanding the root causes of dissatisfaction is the first step toward transformation. If your sense of belonging robs you of happiness and contentment, it's time to understand your atom of autonomy. This inner core allows you to exercise free will and establish a personal sense of justice. You have been endowed with a sense of freedom to counterbalance your need for belonging. This means you are equipped to rise above not only physical urges driven by hormones, but also external pressures, such as political influences. Do not underestimate yourself. Each of us carries our own atom of autonomy, granted to us even before birth. Be the person you were created to be. Remember, belonging groups often seek to diminish your sense of self to use you as their worker ants or warrior bees. Many personal struggles arise from our attempts to fit in, impress others, or gain their admiration. Yet alongside our powerful sense of belonging, we also have an equally strong sense of freedom. This duality ensures we can never justifiably blame God for our struggles, as we have been given the tools and spiritual jewels to live justly and compassionately, even toward ourselves. If you're hard on yourself, start tapping into your spiritual jewelry. Doing so allows you to balance your life, which is ultimately your own responsibility. Losing yourself in the process of chasing external validation or conformity can lead to destructive outcomes. An unchecked sense of belonging can drive us to extremes, from harmful behaviors like anorexia to devastating actions like terrorism. Conversely, excessive freedom without responsibility can lead to indulgence, chaos, or even imprisonment. Balance is the key. By finding harmony between these opposing forces, you can stand strong as intended. Without this balance, we risk becoming irrelevant, unimportant, and worse, useful puppets manipulated by external forces. Remember, spiritual equality means we are all fundamentally the same. Everyone feels cold, ages, and eventually dies. If you must compare yourself to others, consider both their blessings and burdens. Failure to count your blessings is a spiritual error, as it blinds you to the help you've received and the gifts you possess. Some of us may have less than others, but often even those with seemingly everything, wealth, beauty, or fame, are unhappy. The relentless pursuit of perfection leads only to dissatisfaction. Ask yourself, will continuing this way allow you to experience your blessings, or will it trap you in deprivation and discontent? Blaming God, yourself, or others will not help. If you've been conditioned to chase a perfect life, the loss is yours. And who benefits from your loss? Certainly not God. The real beneficiaries are often those in power, who thrive on the dissatisfaction and division they cultivate. Yes, genetics and biology play a role in our desires and pursuits, but ignoring the spiritual truth of mortality leads to a lack of fulfillment. We are not puppets, not even for God. By giving us free will and a personal sense of justice, we have been entrusted with great responsibility. This includes the responsibility to manage ourselves, our actions, and even our thoughts. You may feel overwhelmed by your imagination, but remember, thoughts precede feelings. Cleaning up your thought process is crucial. Human beings have long suffered and thrived because of their imagination. Consider this. If belief in a placebo, meditation, hypnosis, or even faith in God can influence your well-being, you already hold immense power over your imagination. While imagination can work against you, it can also work for you. As entities with an atom of autonomy, we have the ability to tame our imaginations. This is the essence of being human. Our autonomy and spiritual connection to God demonstrate that we can rise above animalistic instincts or chemical-driven urges. However, the greatest threat to our autonomy often comes from the politics of belonging. These forces seek to rob us of our freedom and individuality. The choice is yours. Will you let external pressures dictate your life, or will you embrace your role as the CEO of your existence? With God-given abilities, it's up to you to decide how to use them. By acknowledging your autonomy, balancing your senses of belonging and freedom, and harnessing your imagination, you can live a life of fulfillment and purpose, just as you were meant to.